What's up, guys? Colton, Lindsay here, coming at you live with the Fearless Agent Live today in the Fearless Agent Nation. I want to talk to you about why it's so important in today's real estate market to have a very strong listing inventory. Okay, and I know that my video, sorry about that, guys. I know a little while ago I had talked to you guys about how we had actually been doing more buyer transactions last year than we did sellers, which is totally not normal for us. However, one of the things that we recognized going into the third quarter last year is how we were starting to see a really big shift in inventory. How many of you have noticed in your marketplace inventory starting to shrink, starting to go down, that there's fewer and fewer choices for buyers? It's happening all over North America, in the United States, and in Canada. So here's the challenge right now with buyers bigger than ever. We all know that to put a buyer in your car, it takes 2 or 3 hours, drive them around to go see 4 or 5, maybe 6 houses. You got to go through all that rigor or more just to then write up the offer. It takes a lot more time to work with buyers, true or true, right? It's taking more time now in today's market than ever before, because guess what? Now you rush over to that house and there's 10 other people, 10 other buyers going through that house the same exact day. And when you go to write an offer with your buyers, guess what? There's 3 or 4, sometimes 5 offers on the house, and now it becomes into a bidding war. And guess who's winning in this deal? The listing agent and the seller. And worst case scenario, which is happening very often, is you lose out in the multiple offer situation and you got to go do it all over again. So now instead of just having to do it once, you've got to do it 2, 3, 4 times because you've lost out a few times in multiple offers. How many of you have experienced that, or you're seeing that in your market? Comment below. I'd love to see across the nation who else is experiencing this, because I know we are in our marketplace, right? And what's so cool is we started making this shift and really focusing on our listings. And I think we've got, I'd have to check, but between actives and those that are popping up, you know, with contract signed, we've got 15 active listings, which is phenomenal to have in this market. Because guess what happens when you control the listing inventory? You now become what we call the god of real estate. Which side of the spectrum would you rather be on? Would you rather be on the side of the spectrum where you have to always chase multiple offer situations, or would you rather be on the spectrum where you're receiving multiple offers on your listings? I mean, the answer is obvious, that you want to be in control of having the listing and dealing with the multiple offers with your sellers, right? But here's where you may be getting stuck, and I just want to warn you to not fall into this trap, because it's easy to fall into. Because inventory's down, it is becoming a little bit more difficult to get new sellers and get new listings. And so what happens is buyers are a dime a dozen out there, and we have this feeling of a need to go get business, right? And so what happens is we're setting appointments with these buyers, and if you're doing it really, really bad, you're just going showing homes to a bunch of buyers right now, which is the biggest waste. You'll fell out of the business right now. But a lot of what I'm seeing is agents are setting appointments, getting the buyer contract signed, and then taking so much time to get their deal under contract, they could easily give those buyers to someone else and go focus on increasing their listing inventory. Even if it takes a little bit more time to prospect to find those sellers, once you have them, you can charge more, you can make more, and at the end of the day, you're gonna have more control over your time and your freedom, right? Think about this. Now all of a sudden, if it's a Friday afternoon and you're showing homes, you've got to go spend your Friday night writing an offer to try and win a chance to win that deal. Whereas if it's a Friday afternoon and you're meeting with a seller, you pack up and you go home for the weekend, you get multiple offers and you deal with it Monday morning, you have your whole weekend free. So a lot of what we like to share with inside of the Fearless Agent Nation is, how do you get your life back? How do you not have to work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, Saturdays and Sundays? How do you get some free time in your life? And it's all about being able to leverage yourself. And the quickest way to leverage yourself in today's market and make a lot of money is to spend even more time focused on getting those sellers versus running to get a buyer because they're easier to get and they pop up in your pipeline. Okay? Now, as you go through and build your business, you'll be able to learn how you can leverage out those buyers. But if you don't have a whole team and a whole system built out yet, you got to start by getting those buyers off your plate. And even if it takes you more time, I can't stress this enough, even if it takes you more time to focus on getting more sellers, start doing that. Start turning buyers away and start focusing more on sellers so that you can increase your freedom and increase your income. Because here's what's cool, you get to control what you charge to a seller. You don't get to really control that as much. You're getting 3% probably no matter what if you're working with a buyer. But if you work with a seller, you can increase the commissions that you charge. And guess what? Now all of a sudden in a hot market, if you're doing what we do, we offer 2.5%, and we're keeping an extra 0.5%, plus we're charging more for our services. So now we've just increased our income by nearly 50% on all of our seller deals compared to what our competition is doing. Not just 33%, but almost 50% extra is what we're charging compared to our competition. In fact, we're probably doing more than that because it's such a competitive market, sort of speak, in the hottest market we've ever seen. We're seeing a lot of realtors, and this might be you. If it is, I want to slap you on the wrist. We're seeing a lot of realtors drop their commissions, right? We literally just signed a new customer up that we competed against a couple other agents. There was one agent in particular, he offered 4%. Can you believe that? 4%. We signed it for a full 7% commission. Rhymes with heaven, right? And we still got 3 points more than our competitor. That's because the presentation is so rock star. Okay, so how is it that you can focus on getting more sellers? Number one is when you have buyers popped up, don't go to them out of scarcity because you don't have other deals in your pipeline. See, we have a tendency to do that, and what it does is we run around in circles chasing our tail basically like a dog, because we're going after all these homes to try and get them into a home, and we're competing with multiple offers and multiple buyers. Okay, so when you have that, resist it. Be willing to walk away from buyer deals, or at least refer them out at the very minimum to someone else that you trust and knows that they can get the job done. And they really like working with buyers. Some people like working with buyers. Okay, but the purpose of this video is to help you become more profitable, not to deal with exactly what you like, right? I want to make sure you become profitable. Step number 2 is put extra hours in prospecting. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I see someone like Cody Barton prospecting on a Friday evening around 5 o'clock. Are you willing to do that? Or are you willing to maybe take 15 or 30 minutes on a Saturday morning and follow up with a few of those hot leads you just couldn't get through to during the week? Or maybe on a Thursday afternoon. I know there's a bunch of agents at my office today at 5:30. They're having a call night tonight, right? Are you willing to maybe come back for an extra half hour, 45 minutes at the end of the day and follow up with those people you haven't been able to get in touch with? Or remember, maybe send a text message asking, hey, when can you hop on the phone with me? Right now, more than ever, you've got to go the extra mile, that extra inch. And here's what the extra inch can do for you. You know, when a horse wins a horse race by a nose, right? The Kentucky Derby, if a horse wins by a nose in the Kentucky Derby, their prize money is 10 times. How much? 10 times greater than the second place horse. And they only won by a nose. So it's the same exact in this market today. If you do that little bit more, you win by a nose, you do that little extra 15, 30 minutes of prospecting or following up with leads, your prize money is going to be 10 times greater. How do I know? I'm experiencing it right now. I had an agent in the market, literally the same market right next to me that we work in a little bit, and he's talking about how the market is so difficult to even get full commissions and losing out because it's so competitive, blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, dude, I love that you reached out to me. I want to help you. I say this in the kindest way, not to really impress you or to brag or anything, but we're signing them at 7% with a processing fee, just so you know, on a processing fee on top of that, and we're keeping the majority of that at a 4.5%. Okay, and I just want to share that with you in the idea that, hey, it's not the market, it's you, it's in your head. Okay, I want you to be very, very clear on it. It's in your head and what is possible and what you can do. And whatever you charge is fine, right? I'm not telling you to charge more or charge less. I'm saying charge your full worth. Do the full effort and maybe just a little bit more, and what you receive will be 10 times greater. I can promise you that. Okay, so ask yourself this question: where can you give a little bit more in generating more seller leads? Who can you contact? If you were to say, hey, I got to get an appointment today, where could I get that from? I always end up, if I get into that mode where I'm kind of in a slump, you all been in a slump before, right? You all been in a slump before. I know, I've been there, right? We need a slump buster every now and then. When I get a slump and I need to bust that slump, I say, well, where's the quickest way I can get an appointment? Even if I can't get a deal from it, I say, how can I get an appointment? I always turn to for sale by owners because I know I can get an appointment with them. I know if I had a gun to my head and I had to get an appointment by the end of the day, I could go get it. I could go do it. But we got to look at it like that every single day, that we got to get those appointments. And more particularly, we got to get seller appointments. Okay? A lot of it's just being attention and being aware of where can I go get that appointment. And what happens is you can start to filter through some old leads, or maybe you can call some contacts you haven't called in a while. And what happens is the prospecting karma event that I've talked about is you start getting into that massive action, and all of a sudden, maybe directly proportionate from that effort, you get a seller lead, or maybe you get a text message from someone that says, hey, we're ready to sell, or maybe you had some random internet lead that you weren't planning on come in. Like I had one today, a lead I wasn't planning on popped into my inbox from Vaughn, put it in there, I call it up. Sure enough, we got a listing appointment Monday at 3 o'clock. And it was actually the very last prospecting call I made before I started making this video. So it just goes to show you put that little bit more in, you're gonna get a lot more out of it. And as Dylan said, you know, Dylan, a fellow fearless agent and mastermind partner of mine, he said the transition is worth it. The transition is worth it. So that's coming from a fellow fearless agent and someone that I highly respect. Ron, welcome from Michigan. Glad you're on today. Post also, remember to post where you're from so I see where you guys are from. Dale said, just so you know, the video will prove to be a life changer for me, the Slump Buster. Thanks, Slump Buster. Dude, I am so glad to hear that, Dale, because I think so many times all of us get into a slump and we don't know how to get out. For me, to get out of a slump is I gotta get an appointment. Then after that, like if I haven't signed a contract in a while, I'm like, dude, I don't even care if it's the worst freaking contract on the planet. I just want to get a signature again so I remember what it feels like. And then when I get that feeling, that forward momentum, I get more appointments, I get more contracts signed, and it comes in waves. And then that's the start of that wave. You get to create that energy. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad that it's a life changer for you. Paulina from Spokane, whoop whoop. Glad you came up onto the video today. Make sure to put the like button, give me some reactions, and ask more questions, because I want to be able, on these live streams, my goal is to do it 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. I want to talk about topics on things that you guys are dealing with in your business. And more than likely, me or some of my mastermind partners or even those on my team are dealing with similar issues. I want to share with you how we're dealing with them and how a fearless agent can deal with them to increase their inventory, increase their production, ultimately increase their income and their freedom and their lifestyle, because that's the whole point of the Fearless Agent Nation. Hey, Tawny from Las Vegas, Nevada. We just got a referral from Las Vegas. So if you have any referrals, guys, send them us our way. We would love to be able to help you guys out. And I appreciate it, because we get probably 3 to 4 referrals per month from you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of the Fearless Agent Nation. And if you're not already, go to fearlessagent.com. Get signed up immediately. It is the best decision I made over a decade ago. And I hear it time and time again, hey, it was the best decision. That if I had one regret, is that I didn't sign up sooner. That's what I hear all the time from Fearless Agent Nation. So go ahead and get signed up. Let me know if we can help you in any way. I just decided to be full of enthusiasm from that point forward. And I remember I showed up on this appointment and we went through the whole listing presentation. Everything was smooth. And remember, they told me they weren't listing with me.